Holy crap, Jam, you're like all over everything, all the time, non-stop. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started here in about a minute. Super last minute live stream. Just finished putting my daughter to bed, so we're going to get started. And Strone also all over everything. You guys are machines. Let's begin by screwing CGC. Well, they got the nickname that they deserve, right? Canopy garbage. Yeah. Even good people sell their soul to the devil sometimes. So it is what it is at this point. We're gonna have some fun though. It's a Friday. You're not the only hard worker here. Yeah, you guys are killing it. Honestly, like Jam and Strone. Like I've seen the development and the growth and the just the work ethic, right? There's no shortcuts to life, and you totally exemplify all of what it takes to be successful. So kudos to you guys. Keep up the great work. Keep grinding. Yeah, can't say enough good things about all of the support that I've got, and just an absolute pleasure to be leading a community with such amazing people. So you already know I rotated to more Tilly. Yeah, absolutely, and we appreciate their sacrifice. As I said, I got rid of that CGC after the dumb news. Yeah, it's so dumb that it makes you feel dumber, right? And we don't like that. Thank you, Rod. I appreciate you, man. You too, man. I honestly, you guys are like brothers to me, sisters to me, family to me. So, we're here. We're showing up at day in, day out. We're not just making YouTube videos when it's popular. We're here supporting our brothers and sisters in the time of need when most people need it the most. Is when you're down in the dumps. The price, like most YouTubers want to come out when it's beneficial to them, when the algorithm likes it, when their YouTube analytics like it. I just like helping people. And there's no better time to help someone when prices are in the dumps, when their investments are in the dumps, when they're unsure. And I will always be that retail kind of voice. And I think my daughter's crying in the background. I just put her to bed like 30 minutes ago, and I thought she was down and out. But yeah, maybe I don't hear her crying anymore, so I think she's good. I'm looking after her tonight, though, so I might have to pause the live stream before we get right into the thick of it, but we're going to get started. It's a Friday. Happy Friday, August 15th. Hope everyone's having a great week. Tech Monkey says, bummer to see Canna stocks dipping. Okay, dipping. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. In the Power Group private community, some people ask me, like, what do I expect for the MJ industry? When you have such a big move up and, they come out and say, we're going to make a determination in a few weeks, what does that automatically tell you? We're probably not going to go straight to the moon, right? If they're setting a timeline on it, a few weeks, there's a big run up, generally, you probably consolidate and come back down to reality. Or not even reality, but some sort of decent pullback, and that's what we've seen. You also got the leader in the space, Tillray, trying to avoid a reverse split. So when it gets above $1.30, $1.40, right? Obviously, it's going to come back to $1. They're not going to make it easy. They're going to play with everybody's emotions. They're probably going to dip it below $1, freak everybody out, and then the CGC news of the reverse split. I don't care what you say. Some people are saying, oh, this news was not new information. Well, sorry to break it to you, but not that many people pay attention to Canopy growth news anymore, right? Like, no one really cares. Well, like, they released a press release this morning, and I was like, meh, don't care, right? Like, if it's Canopy growth, I own like 5%, 4% of my portfolio is in Canopy. The only reason why it's in Canopy is because even good people sell their soul to the devil sometimes, and we want to intercept that evil and do good with it, right? And they got deep pockets, right? They're with Constellation Brands. They screwed acreage investors over, literally gave them the shaft, and it's probably one of the worst run companies ever that was created. But you have to think, like, they got deep pockets, they got big backings. This used to be a $22 billion company at one point. There's going to be a lot of evil mofos promoting them, right? So I put a little bit of my hard-earned dollars into this company, just for the off chance that they end up becoming successful. And they probably will. That's the sad thing about it. But they're going to, at the expense of 99% of retail investors, unfortunately, right? But it's a dirty game. You have to learn how the game is played. It's a dirty, influential game as well. A lot of these YouTubers, they only promote companies because they get paid to. They're like XRP in the early days. It was said that people got paid Bitcoin to trash talk XRP. Why would that be the case? It's because they were threatened. So there's always going to be good and evil. And you can choose to stoop to that level, or you can choose to rise above it. And I choose to rise above it. I choose to represent the little guy and the gal. I want to be the voice of reason. I want to be the voice of retail. There's no other channel on YouTube, I think, that has your best interests at heart as much as I do. And I'm here through the thick and the thin. I'm not here just like, creating a Tillray video or whatever video the second that the media starts spinning off and covering it, right? I'm here when no one's covering it, right? I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care about the analytics. I don't care about the views and the subscribers like every single other person does. And like, they're not even hiding it anymore. Like, a lot of the YouTubers will be like, you know what? I don't make videos anymore because it's just not conducive to my analytics and algorithm. Sorry, like, y'all don't matter, right? And it's a borderline slap in the face without being slapped in the face, right? So I challenge everybody from this point on to really absorb the information that is provided and understand the source, where it's coming from. What are the ulterior motives? What are the underlying aspects that we don't see with the naked eye? And most often than not, it's a bunch of BS, right? So that's why I get very heated sometimes on my live streams or my videos, mostly on the live streams. But there's not very many people out here telling the truth. They say they are, but when you come to POW Group, when you come to listen to Rod speak, me speak, I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm not giving you the fluff. I'm not giving you the cherry on top. I'm giving you what you need to hear. And 90% of the time, I would say it's mostly not warranted. It's usually, what's the word I'm looking for? It's usually like disrespected. And people get mad at me for telling my truth, right? And everybody has their own truth. There's three truths, right? There's your story, their story, and then the person looking in. So at the end of the day, do you come here for, like, when I made that video about the 1 minute video, the 5 minute video, just kind of having fun, but I also got a little heated because it's so true, right? Like I spend an hour sometimes doing a live stream. Sometimes I spend 2 hours. I've done a 3-hour live stream before. And like today, I think I did two 2-hour live streams. And that's just on the surface. That's not seeing what it took to get there, to make it, to all the work that I put in my community, helping people behind the scenes that wasn't public. So to like say that I only have 5 minutes for a video, you're just doing yourself a disservice, right? Like, I spend hours and hours and hours a day to somewhat like know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, the saying goes, I know enough to know that I don't know a whole lot, right? And these people who say they're going to watch a video for 5 minutes and become an expert, it's literally laughable. It doesn't make any sense. That has never happened in any imagination, right? You don't become an expert watching 5 minute videos, 1 minute videos. And like, obviously we don't all have the time to be watching hour-long videos all the time. But are you getting value or are you not? Did you watch that hour video and feel accomplished? Did you watch that 5 minute video and feel accomplished? Or did you feel like you were more confused, and that's generally what these videos do to you, these shorter videos, is they leave you with more questions than answers, because that's what they're meant to do, right? They're meant to draw you in as clickbait. They don't really give you much. It's mostly fluff, right? And then you leave and you're like, well, that was a great 5-minute video, but I still have so many questions. So that's what I strive here on this channel, is to interact with y'all. I come on here and I do a live stream, right? A lot of these other channels, they don't do that, right? They'll come on and they'll do it when it's convenient for them, or they'll be talking about a million different things. I want to come on and ask you what you want to talk about, and that's what we're going to do in this stream. I'm not going to come on and I'm not going to do a live stream on a market update. I'm just going to have fun. It's Friday. We'll have a drink or two or whatever, and we'll just hang out and all support one another, right? Like that's the thing. Like I have so many people messaging me on X and social media being like, oh, this person's chirping you on whatever platform. Reddit's an absolute adult daycare. I will never go back to that platform. Can't stand it. But like, you think I care, right? Like the amount of people that have shown gratitude and thanks and said that they got value out of my channel and my information and my work. You think I care about 1 or 2 or even 2,000 people who say I'm an idiot, or like, you know, whatever, like crazy made up. Like I've been like almost sued for defamation, but nothing I say is without merit, right? It's all truth, and anything that I say is not my opinion. It's based on facts and whatnot. So yeah, it's getting to the point where it's a little ridiculous, right? Canopy growth, obviously news of the day, and people were saying this wasn't new information. This was known for a few weeks now, or a few days now. I had multiple people saying it was a few weeks, multiple people saying it was a few days. Folks, this is the channel that covers MJ more than any other channel, okay? I didn't hear about it. So I can guarantee you, like 95, if not 99% of the world didn't hear about it. And there's a reason why it's got almost 1,000 views already. It's lying. It says 554. If I check my back office, my back YouTube studio, this is close to 1,000. So if this video, which my normal Canopy growth videos get like 300 views, 300 or 400 views on average after like multiple days, it's got almost 1,000 views on the back end, because this is wrong here on the front end. That tells you that not many people knew about it, or barely anybody. Okay, so I'm serious. Like I'm looking for direction, and I'm looking for community input. I'm really like, for a while there, I was thinking about getting rid of interviews on my channel, and the reason for this, and I'll jump into the chat in a minute. But the reason why I was trying to get rid of interviews on my channel, I was going to just do crypto interviews, because this is your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews, right? Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, logic, common sense, all that good stuff. But when you actually, like, no one knows what it's like to interview a cannabis company, okay? It's like pulling teeth. You have to send it through 14 different hoops before you get to the destination. And no one knows what they can or cannot say. And I get it. It's usually the government's fault, and the compliance department and lawyers all having a field day. But this far in, right? We're 7 years into this game in Canada, and a lot of CEOs still don't know what they can or cannot say. I really don't like red flags when I'm putting my hard-earned money into things. You know, the whole Glass House brand, like thoughts goes out to those that were impacted, and the person that was fatally impacted by that. But like, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Like, I don't want to put a cent near any of that, right? Like, I don't care if it was overblown or whatever. The fact is it happened, right? So I respect my money and my hard work way too much to just be willy-nilly throwing it into that. Remember CanTrust, when it had like all those illegal grows and like hidden rooms? Another big red flag. CGC just doing their investors dirty. They robbed acreage of all of their shareholder value. And now they're doing another reverse split as their stock gets close to $2. It doesn't make any sense. So I need some direction here, and I want to help the community as best I can, but I need help from the community as well. I want to make this channel the retail channel of the world, right? I don't want to. I'm not like, oh, I meet with big CEOs and I'm the big wig. No, I want to meet with all the investors, right? All the retail people, boys and girls, and my brothers and sisters, and I want to get where you think this channel should go. Because I'm not here for me. I'm not here for them. I'm not here for the big corporations and deep pockets. I'm here for the little guy and gal. And I want to know where you think that I should take this channel. Because I started this as a retail channel, and I will not deviate from that. And the reason why I thought about getting rid of interviews completely was because it was such a pain in the ass. Like, I won't say who it was, but I interviewed a CEO of a cannabis company, and it took about 2 hours of my time, and the interview was like an hour and some. And then by the time I edited it and everything, I was getting ready to publish it, and it was like, sorry, we talked to our compliance and our legal team, and we have to do it again. And I'm like, and I'm not getting paid any money for this, right? I don't get paid a cent from any cannabis CEO like some of these other companies and influencers, right? I don't get paid anything. And I don't want to get paid anything. The payment is you coming on my channel, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win-win. Because they win, I win, and you win, right? So I don't want to get paid. If it's a sponsorship, that's a completely different deal. But if you're coming on my channel to have an interview, I don't want to be paid. Like, the only reason why you're going to come on my interview is because I get paid? Like, no, like, that's disingenuous. That's absolute bullshit, right? So, I thought about giving up interviews completely, at least until the industry got its shit together, right? Because if you, after 7 years legal in Canada, still can't come on and know what you can and cannot say, I'm sorry. Like, I love all of the CEOs that I've interviewed, but come on. We got to do better than that. And it's also disrespectful of my time. And I'm busy. I got a lot of things to do, right? My daughter was crying as I started this stream. She's good now, right? But we have to understand what we can and cannot say. That should be a huge red flag, right? So I was getting all these red flags. I even interviewed a CEO, and he told me I have to take the interview down after it was already live for like a week. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you left it open to the public for a whole week. For a whole week. And then after a week, you come back and tell me that, it's just so dumb. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. But is it really the CEO's fault, or is it the regulator's fault? So I can't blame the CEOs. I can't blame the companies, because it's mostly the regulatory landscape, right? They think they're okay, and then they get a knock from Health Canada or whatever agency, right? Regulatory agency. So I get it. Not everybody is at fault. It's mostly the government, right? Look at excise tax. What did most cannabis company fail for? It's because high excise tax and just not being able to do traditional advertising. You can't speak to just look at the alcohol industry and how they promote their products, right? It's night and day. Like, it's not even comparable to what we're dealing with here as medicine versus poison. So obviously we're gonna have to get there, right? We're not there yet. But my next point is, should I just stop covering companies that I believe are detrimental to the general public? So, for example, should I cover a company, because a lot of people cover, for example, like Canopy, right? A lot of people want me to cover Canopy. I don't necessarily care. There was a news article about their reverse split. I didn't even look at it because I'm completely tuned out. I have a little bit of a position in Canopy. It's like 4 or 5% of my MJ portfolio total value. And I could care less to even really look at it, right? It's just there. It's like an eyesore, right? And if it ends up being successful long term, I got 4 or 5% of my portfolio in it, right? Maybe, after I add again, once I rotate my crypto profits, it'll be closer to 1 or 2%. But I have no interest in adding Canopy growth to my portfolio. I have no interest in really interviewing the company because, Why would I? Like, they've been destroying the company. It's been an absolute wealth destruction. They don't care about their shareholders. We saw what they did with Acreage. They completely took over the Acreage business, just wiped out all shareholders. And now they're talking about another reverse split as their stock approaches $2. And then it drops 28%. And it's probably not done because nobody knew about it. If they knew about it, my video wouldn't have 1,000 views. Okay, so it says 554 views there. Let's go to my back office here real quick. And no other YouTuber will do this for you because they don't talk about anything they do. Okay, so it says 561 now. So if I refresh, 561. Okay, 561. But it's got close to 1,000. It's 742 in the actual back end. So and that's a lag too. So it's probably close to 1,000 views in 4 hours, which after like multiple days, it gets like 300 views on average, 400, right? So that tells me that no one knew about it. It's probably going to continue down to like 115 back. I wouldn't be surprised if it was under $1 again. Like, the stupidity is almost baffling. It's mind-boggling dumb. Like, I can't even think about it for any longer because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, if I was trying to destroy a company, if I was trying to screw retail and investors over, this is the playbook I would take. And not financial advice, this is for entertainment purposes only. All that good stuff. But come on. So I'm looking for direction on the channel, I guess. Should I just stop covering I understand people want me to cover things like CGCs, are probably like the most top 3 requested video that I do updates on. So I don't want to ignore my community, right? Even though I don't really care about CGC or care to look at it or invest in it any more than I've already done. To me, it was just a YOLO. You only live once. I put a little bit in just in case. I mean, if any company was going to succeed, it's probably Canopy Growth, right? They shafted Acreage, they got Jetty, Wana, and they have Constellation brands backing them. So if there was any evil entity, which I think is this, that would succeed, it's probably a good chance of this one succeeding. So while I don't condone evil activity, I do want to intercept that evilness and do good with it, right? So I also want to support my community. So I want to come on, and if 90 people ask me to do an update on CGC, which happens all the time, or like 9 people, 10 people, whatever, I feel inclined to do an update on CGC. If this was Tillray, I'd be all over it. Like, any news release that come out from Tillray, I'm inspecting everything, right? But when it's CGC, I'm like, meh, I really don't care. Like, they earned their nickname Canopy Garbage for a reason. So I need direction from, so let's all comment on this statement and this question. Do you think that I should just ignore the companies that I think are, what's the word I'm looking for? That are not detrimental, but kind of hurtful, I guess? Like, if they do more harm than good, do you think I should still cover them even though I have a lot of people asking me to cover them? Or if I believe that a company is malicious, do you think I should just remove it from my vocabulary and from my content? I'm very curious to hear what everybody thinks about that because I'm torn. Like, I literally don't care about Canopy Growth. Like, I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to succeed. I just don't care, right? I put a little bit of money into them in the early days, and that's just a position that I hold to this day because it's down like 90% or 80%, and I just could care less, right? It wasn't a huge amount of money anyway. But what does everybody else think? Because I'm really at the end of the day just trying to kind of do what everybody else wants as a collective, right? And I'm not here to like bow down to people, but like I need to get some input on this because I'm torn. Like I said, I was thinking about getting rid of interviews on my channel specifically pertaining to the cannabis sector because it was just very frustrating. It was disrespectful of my time. It was a waste of time. It was frustrating, stressful, annoying. I would get angry, right? If I post a video, if I interview someone, like, you know how much time it takes to prepare interviews, to get questions and then to edit the videos, and like, nobody knows. Most people don't want to watch a 5-minute video or a minute video. You don't have any idea how much money or how much time I spent on preparing an interview. Way more than 5 fucking minutes, I'll tell you that. And only to come back after a week being like, I'm sorry that interview's been live for a week, but has to go now. And I'm like, no explanation, no nothing. Just, nope, gotta go. And I was literally a centimeter away from never doing another MJ video or interview ever again, is what I meant to say. Not video, but interview. Because I'd much rather do things all on my own. The crypto industry, it's night and day. It's insane. And then the amount of, like, the quality of people that you get in crypto are way smarter. No offense to the MJ crowd. I love y'all. I'm a big MJ passionate person, right? Like, I've been consuming MJ since I was 13 years old, 14 years old. But you have to call a spade a spade. Like, we're dealing with a bunch of bong rippers here, right? So they're not necessarily the most, like, in tune to the financial aspect, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm not being a dick. I'm not trying to be ignorant. It is what it is. Right? When people come in and invest in cannabis, they don't know barely anything about anything in financial worlds, right? Like, that's the truth. Whereas when you come in and invest in crypto, you're like a tech savvy person or a financial background, right? Because it's trying to replace tech. It's a new technology, and it's trying to bridge TradFi, right? Traditional finance. So your average person in crypto is very, very, like, well versed in the industry, usually in the finance world or in the tech world. Where when you get people coming into the cannabis sector, no one knows anything about anything. No one knows anything about how market makers work, how the stock market works, how the finance world works, how the government works. And it's I don't even know the word for it. It's naive, right? It's naivety at the ultimate level. But because people are so passionate, right? Even myself, I'm so passionate about this plant and this industry and the you know, the whole like aspect of everything. But once you finally start to learn how the game is played, it's like, it's almost unbearable. And it's like little plankton coming into the ocean and getting swallowed up by these big whales, right? Like, that is the perfect analogy for a cannabis investor coming into this. You are plankton, and you're going to get swallowed up whole by multiple killer whales, okay? And nobody will tell you any different. The media is trying to get you to buy when you should be selling, and they're trying to get you to sell when you should be buying. And nobody knows any different because they don't know how the game is played. They only come in and say, I love weed. I love this plant, right? Here's my hard-earned money. Here, take hundreds of thousands, some people are doing. And losing 99% of their money or value. So I've been neglecting the chat for a while now, so we'll jump in. But I wanted to kind of get what I had to say off my chest, and excited to hear what everybody else has to say. Been following your channel since the beginning, and I enjoy your knowledge and content. That's awesome, Tech Monkey. I remember seeing your name. I don't know if you've been on a live stream for a while now. Maybe it's been a while, but I do remember seeing it for a while. Like I said, I just don't recall it in the recent interviews, videos. But yeah, I definitely recognize your handle. So thank you very much for the support over the years. And yeah, my channel has been live since 2018, and I really started promoting content in 2020, because when I started in 2018, I wasn't, like, I didn't have any comfortability, I didn't have any experience behind a camera or whatever, and I still don't consider myself a public speaker expert or anything like that, but I think people appreciate that, right? Like, I'm making the effort, and in the beginning in 2018, I thought I could teach what I knew, but it's very difficult to teach, right? The saying goes, you really understand the concepts if you can teach it to somebody, but you also need practice teaching. So I started in 2018, and I started to, kind of just get my feet wet, and I started the Power Group private community. So I was doing kind of updates in the text format and like through charts and whatnot. But then I started doing live streams. Like I used to get butterflies when I do live streams. Like I I feared hitting the go live button. But now I'm just like, whatever, right? So, it's everybody's different, but 2020 is when I really started promoting the content. So family first, you bet. Yeah, it's crazy how much I love my daughter. Like you can't even like I hear like a little bit of a cry. I'm like, like, is everything okay? But yeah, like you can't be like over paranoid either, right? Life's all about balance. So I'm not a member yet, as financially I do not need another bill, but I love your content. It helps keep me sane, holding my MJ stocks for financial success. That's fine, Brad. Like everybody's in different situations. Just do whatever's right for yourself and your family. I love that dip today. I added over 2K shares to my Tillray and ended up to 76,521. Very nice. Constellation Brands, 2 that Buffett invested in. Not sure if he still holds it. Yeah, I remember that as well. Kind of a indirect kind of reassurance, I guess. But yeah, there's so much. There's so much to be said about that. Like alcohol. Why would you invest in an alcohol? It's poison. It's literally poison. Brad says, I rotated small profits into my first Tillray holding at 148 Canadian. I will hold this for the foreseeable future. Not a bad entry spot. What up, Ben? Berkshire bought UNH, which makes me think they're going on the defensive. They're also like Warren Buffett himself's holding like a ton of cash. So, any thoughts about MSOS, MSOX? I like MSOX. I love that. So, do you know what MSOX is? Is what I would first ask. So, MSOX is a 2 times leveraged ETF of MSOS. So MSOS is an ETF which tracks all the major US MSOs. The 2x leverage is using derivatives and swaps and options, all kind of things. But it's meant to track the performance of MSOS on a daily basis. So if MSOS is up 1%, MSOX should be up 2%. If MSOS is down 1%, MSOX should be down 2%. And then case in point, MSOS today was down 8%, exactly what we would expect. MSOX is down double that, 16%. So the way leveraged ETFs work is they're meant to mimic the price action on a daily basis. If MSOS were to drop 50% in one day, that could mean the complete collapse of MSOX, which means complete total loss of your investment. You should not invest in MSOX for a long term just because it says 2x there. In fact, you should run far, far away. When you see what other industry do you know that is more volatile than the cannabis industry or the crypto industry? So the second you see a 2x anything on any crypto or stock, MJ stock, you should run far, far away. Unless you're looking to just do it for a quick day trade and you're in and out. Again, we're in the industry of stoners. I'm trying to be nice, but again, you don't come here for fluff. You don't come here for nice. You don't come here for, oh, Rod, to tell me that I look good and I smell good and I feel good. No. Most people will tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to hear. And what I'm telling you now is 99% of people that buy MSOX have no fucking clue what they're doing. They have absolutely no idea. And that's the quality of the investor that you have from the MJ industry. And it's not to be like negative about it. It just is what it is. So you have to understand that when you're like, this is like imagine you never played baseball before, right? You're coming in and you're like, well, I play softball the odd time, and I'm just gonna go into the big leagues. I'm gonna go into the big leagues, and I'm just gonna hope for the best. Right? You get eaten alive. So, same thing here. You think you're gonna come into this financial world, to the stock market world, and just because you have a passion for MJ, you think you're gonna do well, right? You're gonna get eaten alive. They're gonna eat you. They're gonna chew you up. They're gonna spit you out. They're gonna eat you again, and then spit you out twice, 3 times, just to prove a point, right? So it's a very dog eat dog world, especially in the financial world, right? Especially in the stock market. It's ruthless, right? So I know that 99% of people buying MSOX have never read the prospectus. They don't know what the fund is about. They have no idea. They probably don't even know what the top holdings in MSOS are, which, if you did know that, there's like 80% of the fund is the top 6 holdings. So why do you need to pay them a management fee? When you buy this company, this ETF or this leverage ETF, you're paying them a fee to manage it for you. And over the last couple of years, it's lost 80 to 90% of their value. So not only are you losing 80 to 90% of your hard-earned dollars, you're paying them money to lose money. You're paying them a fee to lose you 80 to 90% of your money. And if you just look at the holdings of MSOS, the top 6 holdings account for 80% of the fund. It's not rocket science. It's not a mystery. You can just look it up. Advisor shares, Google advisor shares, MSOS, holdings, show you the top holdings. Why can't you just go buy those 6 holdings if that's what you want to do? And then they also had AYR in it, which went to 0, which I said multiple times, red flags. And still to this day, people are still like, should I buy AYR? And I'm like, oh my God. Literally, the executive said there's no value. And people are like, well, what if it's the next Oxley? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's not, no. So you can only, like my dad said long ago, speak to those that want to be spoken to, and only speak to those that want to listen. And the fact of the matter is most people are going to fail. They're going to fail hard. And they're probably not even going to learn the lesson the first time. They might lose an entire account. You might start with $10,000 and blow it all up, lose all of it. Sometimes you might even lose more because you bought it on a loan, right? You took a line of credit or something like that. I see that all the time. And then you end up owing more than what you lost because of interest. And then people finally start to get it. Not after that. They do it again and again, and then they lose a little bit less, and they're like, okay, I'm finally ready to become a student. Finally ready to listen. I blew an account up too, right? When I first started in MJ Stocks, I lost a 5-figure account, right? And then I finally started to listen. But I didn't have anybody here telling me like I do now when I was being an idiot or when I was being smart. So, again, if you're into MSOX, if you're into MSOS, why are you into those? And did you read the prospectus? I added 3,721 more shares of Tillray today. Very nice. Yeah, it's easy to add it's a lot easier to add when we're at 30 cents versus $1. But do you think CGC is worth keeping? Like I said, I bought it a long time ago. I haven't added any since, like in the last 6 months, 8 months. The amount of CGC that I have, if CGC succeeds long-term, the amount that I have is going to be life-changing wealth, right? I'm not willing to put any more money into it. It's just a complete dumpster fire as far as I'm concerned. And the only reason why they succeed is because of just evil, right? The only reason why they would succeed is because of deep pockets and just the rich get richer and at the sacrifice of retail investors, right? So the only reason why I keep it around is like the contrarian, like, just in case the devil wins, like that's basically it. Ticker request RZLV. I have no idea what that is. If I could spell it, RZLV. Oh, I can't spell it all. RZLV. PLC, so some sort of, engineering firm. So it looks like an ascending triangle that had a fake breakout here. So if we go from there to there, so we had that breakout attempt. That break, I would draw it right there. Actually, right there, and then probably right there. So you get yourself an ascending triangle and a couple failed breakout attempts. So then you just take your measured move and then move it out. So it could be looking at around 424 as the next major move. But daily EMA 12 and 26 bear cross lining up. Wouldn't want to see us close a daily candle below, say, 288. If we close a daily candle below 288, probably heading back down to that 250 area. Are we expecting higher highs, you mean, and lows moving forward in comparison to the past run-ups? I would think we were giving more attention to MJ now. Well, see, a lot of the names in MJ still haven't confirmed monthly uptrends yet. So we need the monthly higher lows to give us monthly uptrends. But again, crypto's still stealing the show. Again, even if you think it's Warren Buffett style or Charlie Munger, it's rat poison squared. If you're not looking at what is popular and what isn't, even though you're not invested in crypto, if you're not paying attention, you're not getting the full picture. So if you're depending on or expecting some sort of policy change or reform in the US, well, why are you not looking at what the politicians are focusing on? And what they're focusing on since this new administration came into play has been blockchain, crypto, and AI. Only just this week did they mention the word cannabis. Okay? So again, it's not super difficult to understand. And like, even if you hate crypto, if you're not following it, you're missing all of the picture, right? The bigger picture. So what do we know? They just signed the Genius Act into law. That's the stablecoin aspect. That's to make the US dollar stronger, because if you buy a stablecoin, it has to be backed 1-to-1 to the US dollar, meaning they're going to increase the supremacy of the US dollar, right? Only makes sense. But you wouldn't know that unless you did 5 seconds worth of research. Then they're going to create what's a security, what's a commodity, what's not a security, etc. Market structure, Clarity Act. That's on the horizon in the next month or two. Then what? Then there's nothing to legislate in crypto anymore. Then what are they going to do? What's the next most popular voter issue in the US? Cannabis. What do they get? What's low-hanging fruit? Cannabis. Right? So once they get crypto legislation done, which is probably going to be over the next month or two, what do they have left? What's the next major trending polling issue? Cannabis. So again, until that becomes, and you corrected higher, okay, yeah. So until that becomes the case, like, why should we expect? Again, they came out and said, hey, we're looking at a reclassification. We're going to come out with a determination in 3 weeks. Well, what news could come out in 3 weeks other than them coming out and saying, hey, we reached a verdict and a decision and a determination? What else could happen bigger than that? Literally nothing. Unless they came out and said, hey, we're going to deschedule, but that ain't going to happen in like a day or two or a week later, right? Like, they can't figure out rescheduling. I highly doubt they're going to be like, let's deschedule, right? In like a week. So one would think that the prices were probably going to come down, and CGC is probably going to come down a lot. I would say it might be a mountain pattern and just give the whole thing back, because I guarantee you 99% of retail did not know that this reverse split proposal was a thing, because I didn't, and I cover this stuff day in, day out, all day long, every day. And I got like 100 members in my YouTube channel, or in my POW group private community. I've got like, 25,000 people in my social media, my YouTube audience. And not one person brought it up until today. So I could easily see under $1 again on CGC into next week. So just a classic pump and dump, but in this case, it's warranted. Big time. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for mentioning RZLV, Daniel. I forgot about that one. I had it on my list a couple of months ago. I've never heard of it. I own a commercial landscaping business. Yeah, you did tell me that, Strone. Hope it's going well. And I'm always on my stand on mower listening to Listening to Pow. Okay, gotcha. Just lawn surfing all day. That's awesome. Well, whatever passes the time, and if I'm your go-to, then really, I'm flattered. This is not an old news on CGC. This popped up early this morning. Pow Group is always on top of the news. Came out at 6:16 a.m. Central Time. Yeah, I agree. Some people were saying, though, that it was like leaked by the company. But again, I don't care enough to know. Like, I don't care enough to follow CGC that much. When there's an official press release, okay, I'll look at it. But even today, I didn't even look at it. I was like, CGC at a AGM, like, could care less. And then Jeremy in the Power Group private community was like, reverse split. I'm like, oh dear. Oh no. Rest in peace. But the crazy thing is they probably won't die, right? They'll probably succeed. They'll probably just bleed out every single retail investor on planet Earth. And they'll just keep getting deep pockets and diluting and investments from billion-dollar corporations. And it's terrible. I'm big on Tillray. What you think will happen Monday now that we are over $1 3 days going into the weekend? Let's go. Well, initially I thought this CGC news might not be great, but it actually might be a nice sacrificial lamb. Let's look at the day today. CGC was down 12%, but Tillray was down 12%. But I guarantee you 99% of people didn't know that CGC was doing a reverse split again for the second time. People are saying Tillray's going bankrupt because they're doing a first reverse split. Maybe. Not even. It's been paused, and they're looking to get an extension. And people are saying, oh, bankrupt for Tillray. But CGC already did a 1-for-10 reverse split, and they're looking at doing another one up to 15-1. So, or 1-for-15. So, yeah, like we almost welcome the sacrifice because there might be a bunch of people who sell CGC to do Tillray. I heard that in the Power Group private community today. Tons of people were saying, I'm going to sell this garbage and buy Tillray. So who knows? Maybe even CGC's down another 10% on Monday and Tillray's slightly in the green. That could happen. I'm not going to be selling my Canopy garbage and buying Tillray because it's a small amount and I already own a boatload of Tillray. So I'll keep CGC just on the off chance that evil prevails, but yeah, other than that. I like your stock analysis more than the interviews. Thank you, Tech Monkey. Yeah, and that's what I also was thinking, right? Like, I'm not... People say that I'm really good at interviews or whatever. I don't think that I am. I really don't like doing them. They take a long time. I'm passionate about the industry, so I think that's why it comes through as like valuable. But I absolutely hate doing it. It's frustrating. I can't stand when you ask a company a question and they're like, oh, we can't answer that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And if you can't answer it, just say you can't answer it. But like I said, most of them don't even know if they can or can't until they speak to their legal team. So it's just an absolute clusterfuck, to be honest. And like, it's so frustrating. Like, I just want to bang my head off a wall. And like I said, I don't enjoy doing it. Like, it's not fun. Like, it takes hours and hours and hours making these questions and then only to give them the questions and then be like, sorry, we can't answer half of them. And I'm like, well, fuck. Like, it's so annoying, right? And like, my bread and butter is I'm a technical guy by nature, right? I'm getting into the fundamentals, earnings per share, how to calculate that, and free cash flow, positive adjusted EBITDA, all that stuff. But none of that really matters, right? If you're looking at a company with a high growth sector where 95% of the growth is to be had, why are you looking at their numbers today, right? Why aren't you looking at the pro forma numbers? Why aren't you looking at the growth of the industry numbers versus their like bottom line today? Because the fact is only 5% of the growth stories here. So why are you looking at like, well, we're comparing this company versus this company and this company in the current growth situation. It's like, I get that, but you're comparing an MSO who operates in 14 states in the US to a company that operates in 22 countries. They operate in more countries than they do United States. So, like, do you have any idea what you're talking about? Probably not, right? If you're in 22 different countries and you're struggling to become profitable, well, no shit. But guess what? you got a fuck ton head of the pack. Like your first mover advantage times a million, right? Like if you're in more countries than a company in the US is in states, it's not even it's like game over almost, right? I would think. And and then look at what's happening around the world. People aren't waiting for the US to get off their ass and do something. Canada's been legal for almost 7 friggin' years. 7 years, folks. And the US can't even figure out what their name is. They're like, what is this? Marijuana? Cannabis? What is it? I don't know. Is it like heroin or what? Like, we don't know. We just treat it like heroin. It's insane. It's literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, as if I didn't already hate politics enough. Looking at the way the U.S. government handled crypto, which they're finally starting to get their act together, which I think was all planned. But the way they're handling MJ now is just like, if I didn't hate politics before, I sure as hell can't stand it now. Like, I can't. They should all be fired and with prejudice. Never allowed back ever again. Ever again. They're all useless as far as I'm concerned in the U.S. Like, I love you, U.S. people tuning in, but I can't stand your government, and you should hate them as well. Like, they're useless. If 80%, 90% of your people want it legalized in some form of another, what the hell are you waiting for? It's because they're lobbying their government, their big alcohol, big tobaccos. They love big alcohol, tobacco, and pharma more than they love their own citizens. That's a fucking fact. Excuse my French, but it's true. Like, you can't deny it. Like, the only thing that makes sense is it's corruption. It's by design. They're trying to weed out all of the small operators. They're trying to take all of the great ideas, the innovations, the IP, the intellectual property, the breakthroughs. They're weeding them out. They're basically just, stringing them along until they can't survive any longer, and then the big corporations come in, swoop them up for pennies on the dollar. It's classic. It's what they do with every single industry. But again, if you only came into the industry in the finance world as MJ, and you don't have any prior knowledge to how this world works, you wouldn't have any idea, right? You just think that, this is the biggest manipulated sector on the planet, but it's not. Like crypto, the choke point 2.0, choke point 1.0, it was with guns, and like it's been happening since the dawn of time, since like there was a government, right? There was literally a video on my channel. Let's put in Mark. Was that his name? Mark Horowitz? Fuck was it? Or no, Andreessen. Andreessen. I can't even spell that. Andreessen. How do I spell that? Is that his name? Andreessen Horowitz. I can't spell right now, but Andreessen Horowitz. I know I posted a video on that. Here, let me just go here. If I copied the actual spelling, because that's a difficult name to spell. There we go. No. I think it was a short. Don't tell me it got removed from YouTube. No way. He was on Joe Rogan. Mark Andreessen, there you go. AI. He literally says he wanted, like, the government basically told him not to start an AI company. He's like, we already got like a few winners, and you might as well not even bother. Like, we will not allow anybody else to survive. I think it's this one.
One of the threats from the government is the government basically going to force our startups. This is one of the threats from the government is the government basically going to force our startups to come into compliance, not just with their trade rules, but also with all of their, essentially a censorship regime on AI that's exactly like the censorship regime that we had on social media.
Wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, and this is my belief and what I've been trying to tell people in Washington, which is if you thought social media censorship was bad, this has the potential to be 1,000 times worse. And the reason is social media is important, but at the end of the day, it's quote, just people talking to each other. AI is going to be the control layer on everything, right? So AI is going to be the control layer on how your kids learn at school, right? It's going to be the control. Gives loans.
Okay, this wasn't it, but it's also just as creepy. But it had to do with him basically saying, like, yeah, like we had some AI startups, and he basically said, and then at the end he was like, well, what do you do about that? And he's like, well, you go vote for Donald Trump. And I'm not saying to go vote for anybody. I don't care. Don't get at me with your left and right bullshit. I'm just saying this is what it said. And he basically says, like, if you wanted to start an AI company, he said the U.S. government said, don't even bother. There's no point. We will not let us succeed. We have 3 or 4 companies that we're going to let succeed, and that's just the way it is. So watch the full interview. It's YouTube as well. They have a deal with Spotify, so you never know. It might just be... I thought I had it on my channel, but who knows? Maybe they banned it. He just talked about censorship and stuff, so that's a real thing too. But yeah, like I'm trying to get... Just trying to focus on my bread and butter and my analysis, and oh man, I can't stand politics. I really hate it so much. It's the worst. It's like the bane of my existence, honestly. Like, I thought it took Canada a long time to legalize. Like, I couldn't believe it in 2018. I was like, we're finally legalizing MJ now? Like, about friggin' time. And then to look at it 7 years later, and the U.S. doesn't have a fucking clue, man. They don't even know. Like, people don't even know what rescheduling even means. They're like, is that legalization? Like, you think this is going to make people dumber? Do you? Like, I'm pretty sure you can't be any more dumb than you already are down there. Like, at least in the political sphere. Who knows? Maybe hit the bong 1 or 2 times and you feel smarter. I don't know. I'd be looking for, for ideas at this point. It's ridiculous they had to redo the whole thing. Yeah, it was such a pain in the ass. The Tillray interview was the best Tillray interview ever. Thank you very much. Yeah, like, and again, I really loved the Tillray interview because I'll be really honest with you. They didn't tell me anything that they couldn't say. I sent them the questions in advance, and the one time I've sent people questions in advance, I guess with the crypto interviews they never did because it's crypto. Again, why I didn't like doing MJ versus crypto, but Tillray, to their benefit and to their to talk good about them in this sense, is I sent them the interview questions. They didn't say a damn thing. They didn't say we would not answer any of it. All they said was there might be some questions we can't answer. And guess what he said? I think the only question that he didn't answer was the Joe and Soda one. He said no comment. And I said, that I respect that. If you can't answer it, just say no comment. Can't answer that. That goes a long way versus eliminating it from my questions. And if it were up to me, I'd rather just not send the questions at all, right? I'd rather it just be a complete blanket, unexpected, unscripted, right? But I understand you're dealing with the most regulated industry in the world right now. So it is what it is. But I love the fact that they answered every single question and didn't tell me to answer. Like, man, I'm so bullish on Tillray. It's night and day. And people, again, people aren't going to spend the thousands of hours that I research into this industry. People aren't going people don't want to watch a 5-minute video, let alone or a 1-minute video or a 5-minute video, or anything more than that, let alone put thousands of hours into understanding which companies are going to be successful in an industry with thousands of players. No wonder you're not going to know. It's because you won't, you look for 5-minute videos or less, right? How the hell? And then the ones making 5-minute videos don't have a clue from their gooch from their ass crack. So, of course, they're not going to be able to help you. And if they do, they're going to come in late and they're going to end up buying the top, and then you'll sell the bottom again just like they normally do, right? But yeah, Tillray interview is such a fun interview. Like, it was an hour, a little over an hour, and I was like, it felt like 10 minutes. I was like, I could ask so many more questions. But we'll have him on again. Brad says, Rod, you need to stay true to yourself. Well, that's very true. Simple as that. I appreciate it, Brad. And yeah, I guess it's a continuous journey, right? Like, I always have to find myself. And as I get into this industry and as things progress and regulatory landscape changes, you know, it's a constant discovery, right? And like, I don't think I've changed from my channel. Like, I've almost got 10,000 subscribers on my channel. What am I at? Like 9,990. Yeah, 9,920. I could care less. Like, I don't care if I have 10,000, 100,000. I'm not going to change my values or my truth based on how many subscribers I have. What I change is, like, based on, like, how the industry evolves, how I evolve, not based on my audience evolving, right? Like, I'm not gonna, I have 100,000 subscribers now, so I want to do less MJ because it's not as popular. Like, no, fuck that, right? I'm passionate about MJ. I always said 80 to 90% of my portfolio, or like my videos and my content will be MJ. Maybe it's not always 80, 90%. Maybe it ends up being like 60, 40, but it's always going to be a majority MJ, right? I'm a tech guy. I love crypto as well, but my passion is cannabis. So, you know, that's, I just need to figure out, like, and it might not always be like this, right? Like, the fact that I don't like interviewing cannabis companies, that might not be that way forever. It might become like a thing of the past where, you know, people are just like, you know, it's just as common as talking about alcohol, right? We'll probably get there. But right now, it's very friggin' annoying. Like, I really dislike spending hours and hours and hours of my time compiling questions. And, you know, some of these interviews, I'm spending 10, 20 hours. And then to do the interviews an hour or two. And then to edit the video and then post it. And, like, people don't want to watch a 5-minute video or more. And I'm spending like 10 to 15 hours on this interview. And I've got a daughter. I've got a family. I've got a life. I've got a business, multiple businesses, right? So, yeah, like when I interviewed the 3IQ CEO of XRP, you know how much time that took? Well, I'm super passionate about XRP, so it took a lot more time than normal. But I spent maybe 5 hours on this, and not a single question he said he wouldn't answer, and every single question he answered. And it was 37 minutes long. Loved it. It was absolutely awesome. And there was no like, oh, I have to review the question. I didn't even ask for the questions in advance. Like, it's such night and day. And like, he's working with the regulators as an ETF. Like, you have to know the ins and outs of what you can and cannot do. So it's just a night and day industry. And again, it has to do with cannabis. Like, you know, cannabis CEO doesn't know what the regulatory landscape is. That's why they reach out to the lawyers and the compliance team. But if you're the CEO of an ETF, well, obviously you worked with the regulators. You know what you can or cannot say. So I guess it's a little bit of a different story. But yeah, like, I don't know. And I'm not going to have you on my channel and be like, I don't like the fluff. I don't like the, oh, you know, you had a great quarter. What was the biggest thing that stood out to you, Mr. or Mrs. CEO? Well, that's not a question. That's just dumb. Oh, you had this amount of growth. Oh, so you're just reading the press release and they're just regurgitating what they said in the press release in the conference call. Okay, that's not an interview to me. I don't have time. I have more things to do with my life than to just come on here and regurgitate what you said in the conference call, right? Or in the press release. So I want to ask questions that I don't know the answer to that you haven't already answered, right? So that's why I do interviews. And I think that's why people like them. But I appreciate you saying that you like the analysis more. I agree. Stop wasting your time on garbage. I keep losing my spot. Why would they even consider a split if they were in compliance with the NASDAQ? That is stupid. Exactly. It's like my brain hurts. Like, look at VFF. It got a warning in 2023, and it got an extension, and then it regained compliance organically. Then it got another warning in 2024, and they got another extension and regained compliance for the second time organically. And now the stock went from like 40 cents to almost $3. Like, everybody on Canopy Growth should be fired. Every single, not like the front line, but like the board and the CEO, and everybody that has ties to the CEO and the board should be fired, and they should start fresh. They could hire a 5-year-old and be like, hey, I will find the new CEO and board, and I would have more confidence in them, to be completely honest with you. But the only influencers that like Canopy are the ones that get paid to promote them. So, and understandable. Would you like a company if they paid you $5,000 to talk good about them? Probably. That's a month, right? And like Canopy spending billions of dollars, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars of hard-earned investment capital and shareholder capital, wasting money and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on influencers to promote them. If that doesn't piss you off, I question whether or not you have a pulse. Very stupid. The timing is horrible. Poor decisions. It's so dumb that it can't even be described in words how dumb it is. Worst management department ever. Yeah, they should all be fired with prejudice. Again, never allowed back. It's like the U.S. government. Like the political system in the U.S. Fire them with prejudice and never allow any of them back ever again, and set a term. You're not allowed to be on the board for Canopy for any more than like a year. And you're not allowed to be in the political system in the U.S. for any longer than like a couple years because stupidity is running rampant. I would get rid of the CEO. Glad I'm on Tillray. Yeah, I agree. Do you think CGC is trying to drive the price per share down so they can buy low? Well, yeah, like it's not just about that too. It's about the industry is trying to like beat the piss out of the industry more so that it doesn't matter if you're a retailer, a producer, a Canadian producer, an American producer, whatever. They're all dropping like flies, and it's because of high taxation through 280E or through excise tax in Canada. And the only thing that makes sense is they're doing this by design to make it look like smoke and mirrors, like everybody in their like mom and pop shops, right? Like how many shops? I knew tons of friends that started cannabis companies and retailer like shops in Alberta and Canada, only to be out of business in a year or two because of like just the illicit market was running. Like you can't take market away from the illicit market if you're charging 35% of your top line to excise tax. That's just going to drive. And if you're charging 35% of your top line to excise tax, what do these producers have to do? They have to jack up their prices. So what do people do? They run to the illicit market. So it's a mirage. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're trying to make it like social equity and justice, and everybody has an equal level playing field. It's not just the big corporations and the government, which, SQDC in Quebec and PEI, there is no private sector. It's all run by the government. And guess what? They're all doing fantastic. The SQDC's swimming in it. They're making so much money off the cannabis industry because they control it, right? So if that doesn't tell you everything that you need to know, I don't know what does. And the only thing that makes sense beyond that is that they're using these smart entrepreneurs, these innovators, to get their IP, to get their patents, to get all of their smart entrepreneurial brains to come in, do all the legwork for them, and then the big deep pockets and corporations come in and swoop it up for pennies on the dollar through liquidation, CCAA, and bankruptcy filings. This is what happens in every sector, folks, and even more so in cannabis. And it's so blatantly obvious, they're not even hiding it anymore. So I think like maybe they're trying to like get like institutional investors, and there's a thing called non-dilutive shares, right? There's a reason why it says fully diluted shares, because there's things called warrants and options and whatnot, and non-dilutive shares. So you can own shares in a company that are protected from dilution, right? And that's never given to retail, ever. And that's by design as well. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's the way they want it. That's the way they're going to keep it. Enough said. The board of directors need a GTFO. Yeah, I agree. They need an overhaul. Yeah. Just rip the Band-Aid off. They're all in it together. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Never stop the TA videos, Rod. No, I never will. It's my bread and butter. Can't get rid of my bread and butter. I have so much belief in Tillray that I sold 2 other stocks and felt good about it to buy Tillray this week. Yeah, I've never felt bad buying Tillray. It's the biggest no-brainer to me ever. And like, look at all they've been in beverages for forever now. And look at every MSO. Look at OGI and look at all these other companies. all they can talk about is cannabis beverages. And I remember like all these other CEOs being like, oh, this category is never going to be more than 1%, 2% max. They all don't have a clue what they're talking about. No, don't ignore any company. People usually care about the TA more than the actual company. Okay. That's a good point, Jem. Yeah, I'm just looking for thoughts and opinions, and I don't know. It's hard to balance everything, to be completely honest. Like, I don't like promoting CGC at all. Because I don't get paid any money, and that's why. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like promoting things that can hurt people, and I know that Canopy is nothing but destruction for the most part. So, like, yes, there's been times that you made money on some rips, but it's such a cluster, you know what. I would keep talking about them to warn investors of their flaws. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of followers look up to your videos, bro. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, again, I don't want to like not pay attention to my followers, and if they're asking for videos on a certain company, even if I don't like the company, I'll still I'll just give my unbiased opinion, right? Like, I'll look at the chart and be like, hey, this is what I see, regardless if I like it or not. I try to remain unbiased. Like, for example, like I'm not a fan of Trulieve. I don't like Trulieve, the stock. But when I do technical analysis, I'm not like, hey, avoid this thing at all costs. You know, I give my thoughts and opinions on the technicals and unbiased opinion. But yeah, I guess maybe I'm overthinking it. I can't stand the fact that these companies don't care about their shareholders. That's all. Maybe do most of your analysis on the healthier companies that have future potential. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was at, right? Like, I don't want to just do videos on the ones that I believe in. I want to also do videos like for the community. But I also don't have time to research every single company either. But like the companies that I really think that are like really negatively impacting people. Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's tough to navigate, I guess. I appreciate all the research you do. It helps me know a direction to look when I do my own research. Well, exactly, BJ. Like, so many people go to YouTube and to these videos and they're like, oh, like, I bought this because this person said, or whatever, or, they did the research, so now I'm a believer. But the problem with that is if you don't do your own research, if you don't try the products and the brands and become a user of the product or the service, you're not going to hold through the thick and the thin, right? You'll either sell too early or panic sell, right? You'll sell on the way up too early because you don't know the value of what you hold, or you'll panic sell because you don't know the value of what you hold, or you don't understand how financial markets work, etc. Would you be open to covering top Bitcoin ETFs? So, yeah, I mean, I have. Like, they were the first in Canada, like the Purpose Bitcoin ETF, and then they came to the US. Bitcoin to me is like a Trojan horse. I can't stand the fact that we don't know who created it. I mean, I have a pretty damn good idea. I'm pretty sure it was the US government in cohorts with a few other governments, but I can't prove that. And it's hard for me to, like, I made money on Bitcoin. I bought Bitcoin at 3,000. I sold it at 50,000. Yes, I could have held it to like 130, 120 or whatever it was, but I don't like not knowing what I invest in. And can you imagine investing in Apple and being like, we don't know who the creator is? Could be North Korea. Could be some terrorist group. Could be somebody that's super like law-abiding citizen. We just don't know, right? That would never happen. So the fact that we don't know who created Bitcoin is like the biggest turnoff for me. And like the ETFs never come out when Bitcoin's at a low, right? It always came out when it was at a high and price discovery, and now it's even higher. The reason why all these ETFs are getting approved now is because we're at the end of a cycle and they're going to suck every Tom, Dick, and Harry in. Like Coinbase now has links to PayPal. I was buying on Coinbase yesterday and the day before. It's been a while since I used Coinbase. It is so easy to buy crypto now. It's not even funny, and that's by design. They didn't do that in the bear markets, the depths of the bear market. They're doing it at the biggest bull run ever because they're going to create the biggest bear market ever. And How do they do that? They make it as easy as possible for every mom and pop dog, cat to buy, and then they rug pull it. And like, just imagine if they come out and say that Bitcoin was created by some terrorist group or some evil entity. It would be bad. Honestly, screw the interviews with trashy companies, but never stop the TA on charts because that's what people generally are interested in. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not, like, to be honest, I'm not going to interview trashy companies, to be honest. Like, I'm not just going to do interviews because I want to do interviews. Again, I don't even like doing interviews. I said that. So the only way I'm going to do interviews is if I really believe in them. But I agree. Like, charts are like there's no hard feelings. Like, if somebody asks me for a chart and I don't like the company or the project or the asset, whatever, I'll just look at the chart. Like, no harm, no foul, right? But yeah, to interview a company that I'm not interested in, like, probably not going to do that. That was, I just mean, like, in terms of like making videos in general. Should I do the companies that I think are negatively impacting society, and especially my fellow retail investors, right? Agree, Jam says, BJ, in my opinion, you'll only have interviews with companies you believe in long term. I agree. Ones that are making a difference in the space. Exactly. Like, I don't want to just have Canopy growth on my on my show just because they're popular and they trend. Yeah. Like, I'm not interested in that at all. So I would agree. That's probably the way to do it. I think y'all really helped me on that. I hope that you continue to cover the MJ stock because I respect your analysis, but have to do what makes you happy. Yeah, no, and that's a great point, Tech Monkey. So yeah, like, interviews are not what really makes me happy. I love the interviews after I do them, but it's not fun to prepare for interviews at all. And it's a little nerve-wracking, you know. You're talking to a multi-billion-dollar company CEO, and yeah, like, I'm not really the type of public speaker. Like, I've just learned this over the last few years. So, you know, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a little bit of apprehensiveness or butterflies or whatever you want to call it. It's, you know, slowly going away, but I'm human and I don't enjoy interviews. I really don't. But I know people love them, and, you know, I'm a very passionate person. So when I do these interviews, I think my passion is probably the biggest thing that shines through. But I also do a shit ton of research, and I put a lot of time into crafting my questions and, you know, listening to the community and what they want to hear. And Daddy got burned by the sector. I'm all XRP now. Yeah, Martin, well, I love your comments. They're absolutely hilarious. And yeah, no better asset to be in than XRP. XRP is going to dwarf everything. XRP is probably the biggest investment of our lifetime. Bigger than Amazon, bigger than Apple, bigger than Google, Bitcoin, all of them combined probably. Yeah, Bitcoin just passed Google for the 5th largest asset in the world. And some people still unsure what this magic internet money is. Like, it just passed Google, bruh. Like, what you talking? you don't think it's valuable? Okay then. But yeah, XRP will be more valuable than Bitcoin. It'll be the #1 digital asset when it's all said and done, market cap wise. And Ripple will be the most valuable company, hands down. No questions asked. I'm not even gonna debate that because, like I said, I already know. I don't need to debate. Time will just convince everybody who doesn't believe. How is the Tillray chart? Oh my God, it's been this long and no one asked that. I'm glad you did, Bilal. So it's actually a daily bull flag now. We have our low, we have our high, we have our high or low. As long as we hold 96, it's a daily bull flag. And you take your measure move there from the low to the high, and you move it out to your 0.32 fib, and you have nothing but a fantastic $2.40 target. And this is on the daily time frame. So if this was the hourly and you were looking at this, it might take days to happen. If it was the 5-minute time frame, it might take hours to happen. If it was on the weekly time frame, it might take months to happen. But since it's on the daily time frame, it might take weeks. And what did the new administration and acting current president say? Within weeks. So if this is saying within weeks, based on the daily time frame, what are we going to expect? And I can't imagine them dangling the carrot ahead, like in front of us, being like, you know, we're thinking about, we're looking into this 2+2 thing, and we're going to think long and hard about 2+2, and we're going to come back in a couple weeks and we're going to let you know the math that resulted on that. So, like, why would they come back and say, no, we're outlying it forever? Like, it just wouldn't make any sense. And the freaking dude himself said, I'm for rescheduling. I'm for legalizing in my home state, Florida. He also said safer banking. And he was for states' rights. Over half the U.S. are legal. So, come on. Like, it's not even... Anyway. I think I lost my spot again. How is the Tillray chart? Got that one? You were a good teacher, no doubt, and you were patient with my chart stupidity. Well, I mean, you didn't see me when I started out. I thought I knew what I was doing. That's the thing about charts. You think you know the answer, you think you know the right answer and what you're doing, but you actually, it's just like a false positive, right? You think you know, but you actually don't. You don't have somebody there to tell you. So that's why I created these courses as well, not to sell courses or whatever. In my courses, I teach you everything that I know in 10 to 15 years of experience in about 10 hours. I give you how I set my charts up, why I set them up the way that I do, and then I give you, at the end, interactive quizzes and examples and like visual videos. Like you go through a video and then I question you on it, and then you see the answer, and then you see the explanation of what the right answer is. So that way you know. Right? You're not just like, hey, here's an uptrend, and you're like, oh, I think I understand what the uptrend is. No, I say, hey, is this an uptrend or is this a downtrend or is it neither? And then you answer, and then whether it's right or not, you still get the answer as to why it was right or not. Right? And that's the most important thing. But again, if you're not into charts and learning and improving, then, you know, you probably don't need my course. But everybody's different. And I appreciate that, Jem. Like, I do think that I'm a good teacher. I really do. And I think the part of being a good teacher is caring about people, right? And like, obviously you can care about people and still be a shitty teacher. But I think the best teachers are the ones that are passionate, that really want to learn and have like a continuous improvement mentality. But the real differentiator is people that want to help people, because you need to have patience. And you're not going to be able to help people without having patience, because you're going to get frustrated, and people are going to get frustrated. And you got to do it in a way that the majority of people can understand. And I think that's where I excel the most, is I'm able to explain things in a very simple to understand way. And then, like I said, combined with, you know, my passion for the industry or industries and just love of, you know, people and helping people and doing good by anyone. I think that's really what it takes to be a good teacher. Industry of stoners. Well, it's true. I mean, what are we, drunks? Brandon says, love your no fluff style. Got to tell them the hard truth and let them cry if they're from, like, yeah, 100%, Brandon. Like, there's so many people that hate on my channel, and they say, you know, this person didn't say it was going to 100 tomorrow or yesterday, and I asked him if it was going to $100. He said no. Or like, you know, if someone tells me they put $100,000 into Tillray or whatever stock, and they're down 99%, my first question is, what's your net worth? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you made a mistake. Like, you shouldn't have done that. That was your first problem. And they're like, well, screw you. And I'm like, well, again, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to win friends and influence people. That's not my goal here. If we make friends, okay, great, along the way. But my goal with this channel is to help people. And the only way, and I'm a tough love kind of guy, right? I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, because there's so many people, especially on YouTube, that are just clickbaiting like a mofo, and they're just here to fluff and clickbait and get you in. Like, I even hear YouTubers saying, that's my job, to get you in. Like, they're embracing the nonsense. They're embracing the clickbait. They're like, I am the clickbait, and I embrace it. That's not me. I can't stand that. So, like, kudos to all the YouTubers who are making thousands of dollars off their videos without any value. That's great. But I guarantee you, in 10 years, 20 years, I'll be making videos to the day I die. So if I'm 90 and I'm still breathing, I'll be making YouTube videos. Or whatever videos, Rumble, whatever platform, whatever it is. But I'll be making videos, and I can guarantee you that my audience will be way more loyal than majority other audiences out there, because I don't look at my audience as a number or as a view or as a click or a subscriber. I look at you like my fellow human being that I care about and that I want to help. And like, I tell you not to donate to me. I don't want thankses. I don't want donations on the channel. If you want to sign up and support me, I created a website called pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca. Come here, and if you want to support me, don't give me a thanks on YouTube. I mean, there's no way for me to deny it, but I don't want you to donate $20 to me and just be like, thanks, that's it. I want you to come here and sign up for the Pal Group private community. I want you to sign up for the algo alerts that I spent 3 years building that I love and use myself and couldn't live without. Maybe a course. Doesn't have to be a course, but like maybe the monthly trade newsletter if you're more passive. Maybe you want to do a coaching call. Maybe you want to buy some merch that I spent hours and hours and like of my time building. So I'd rather you spend money and support me and then benefit yourself and support yourself, right? That's the whole point with the products and services that I offer. I can't bring it to myself to come on here and be like, yes, give me a super thanks, give me a thanks, or you know, I won't listen to your comment unless you give me a super comment. Like I don't care about any of that. Like I don't want you to give me any money without any return back, right? I want you, and like I don't want to just like give you value. Like if you give me a $20 super chat and I do a stock chart for you once, well, why not take that $20 and then buy a month's worth of the PAL group, and you can ask like 100 charts in a month, right? So why spend $20 on one chart when you can get like 100 in a month, right? Or get the annual and save yourself some money and learn from all the other 100 investors that we have in there as well, and traders. So it's not just me either. Like there's tons of people in the PAL group. Like I'm learning from people in the PAL group private community all the time. Like some of them are really great accountants. Some of them are really good with fundamentals. Some of them are really good with numbers. Some of them are really good with technical analysis. Some people are really good with different crypto projects, right? Like Ben, first, like thanks so much for all your help with Flare and delegating and all that stuff, right? So it's not an adult daycare like most other social media platforms. Oh, no worries, Rod. I was adding shares of Tillray at the bottom too, not just today. Okay, gotcha. I like XRPQ. Thanks, Rod, for that one. Yeah, older gent, so YouTube member. We also got Mr. Mankey. We got Jam Losi. But yeah, that's the highest one with assets under management at the moment. It's like 125 million. I'm actually really surprised. Super glad I interviewed their CEO, and yeah, that would be my front runner for the best one for sure. Sitting outside smoking MJ, just hanging. Yeah, it's a Friday night. I'm actually not smoking any MJ. I'm hitting a green apple vape. I don't even really vape. I don't know why. For some reason I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind like a vape. It's a green apple. It's really good, but it's like kind of gross after a while. Where are we at here? Don't forget the 250 million plus volume in 3 days on Now and Tillray. Yeah. Yeah, but nothing to see here, right, Jam? Piece of crap company. It's only got the most volume out of like all cannabis companies combined. I agree, but the Canadian cannabis industry is hinged upon the U.S. rescheduling. Actually, no, it's not. If you look at all of the current LPs, they're all focusing on international markets like Australia, UK, Germany, Poland, right? Even France is looking to integrate it into their medical system now. There's way more people. There's like 400 million people in Europe. Or no, I think, what is it, like 300 million in the US? How many people in the US? 340. How many people in Europe? I think it's like over 400 million. 744 million. So over double in Europe. So, like, we get it. The US, you're the biggest economy in the world. You're the biggest capital markets of the world. But it's time to get your head out of your ass. Okay? You're not that awesome. Let's just put it that way. Again, I'm not telling you what you need to, or what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to hear. The US is not that awesome. People are people. This industry is borderless. It's countryless. It's medicine. Everybody on planet Earth is going to need medicine and natural medicine and getting away from opioids and all this bullshit. Okay? So, it's time for the US to get their own heads out of their ass. The US is going to continue to be the US, and the rest of the world is going to be the rest of the world. And look at Canada. 7 years legal. The US doesn't even know what crypto is still. Like, in Canada, guess what? We had this profound realization. We were like, let's treat crypto. Oh, I got this profound idea. I have this, I did ayahuasca one weekend, and this just dawned on me. Let's treat crypto like stocks. Let's charge capital gains like we do on stocks. And that's just been the way that it's been since forever in Canada. But yet the US is like, no, we don't know. We still, after 12 years, 14 years, whatever it is, still don't have a friggin' clue. Like, again, love Americans, love all y'all, but your political system is so broken. It's a disgrace, honestly. And if you're a person that serves in politics, I'm sure you're one of the many, or sorry, one of the few that are awesome. So kudos to you for being awesome. But again, you can't rig a game if it's all fake, right? You have to have a couple people that believe in it. So the lie wouldn't be believable if it was all a charade, right? Warren, Schumer, Mitch lied over about... Yeah, they're all scumbags, man. Hello, Rod. This too shall pass in the house. Happy Friday. Yay. Just got off work and joining in. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. Hope you had a great day at work, man. You're my favorite YouTube, Rod. Yeah, I can't remember. I think maybe you were a girl, if I recall, actually. I said that about Jam too once, when they got mad at me. But I know, Jam, you're a dude now, but I'm pretty sure this too shall pass is a woman. I have one other person I listen to regularly. I have chopped significantly who I subscribe to. You and another channel is who I am left with out of 50 that I deleted. Thank you for your awesomeness. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Goes both ways. And you've been here over the years too, so like I said, happy to come on here and spend hours of my time, and it's fun. Mankey, are you there? Don't forget to use the reply. You saved me from my AYR. Yeah. Well, still to this day, people are like, should I buy AYR? Is it the next Oxley? And I'm like, no, just because it's a penny doesn't mean it's Oxley. The company itself said, there is no value here. And people are like, is there value? No, literally the horse's mouth, the executive, not the CEO, not whoever is in run, because they have like 17 in the last year. Nobody even wants to touch that dumpster fire. Like, there's so many red flags, and people at MJ are just like, like I see like 17 red flags, but what are the chances that the green that I'm smoking is turning those red flags into green? Like, you think that the the flag's actually green? AMD chart, I know it's not a cannabis in the stock channel, but you could give me your analysis. Yeah, no problem. It's been lagging for sure. It's kind of been playing catch up. But yeah, daily bull flag at the moment, just like most names. Yeah, that wasn't much of a pivot. Yeah, 170, 160. Yeah, I would say that's probably actually a better pattern would be a bit of an ascending triangle here. And it's kind of sketchy at the moment, but looks like it wants more. be looking at a move up to around 205. Maybe it's a weekly bull flag though. Yeah, weekly bull flag. So you go from the dump there to the high. Whoops. Brief weekly consolidation. And you're looking at a move to, so we had that 208 target, and then we have 220. So yeah, it's looking like 220. Just had a daily golden cross and the 50 and the 200 crossing bullish as well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see us at 200. Looking pretty decent. Also tuned in late. Happy Friday, everybody. You too, Danny. Hi, Rod. If you had to guess a 1 for 10 for split or 1 for 20, maybe no split. I assume you mean Tillray. Yeah, it's anybody's guess, really, man. Like it's really irrelevant. Like CGC's talking about doing a second reverse split. Aurora's already done 2, so who cares if Tillray does 1, right? Like they're still half better than half of the other ones. So, like if they did a reverse split, it would be because there's some positives. Institutional investors can't buy unless it's $5 or more to save them $1 million worth of reducing their share count and NASDAQ kind of aspect of things and share count and the perception and having it, you know, it's, I would say like the chances are if they get an extension, it's like a 20% chance that they reverse split. Like it's 80% they don't now. It was like 50-50 for a while, and then when they came out saying that they were looking to get the reverse split proposal approved and stockholder approval, and then they got the approval, I was saying like 80% chance they're going to do the reverse split. And then when 41% of people said that they voted against it, and then they had until September and they get an extension, that's March 20th, 2026, rescheduling looming, I would put it at like an 80% chance that they don't now. But even if they did, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, CGC is doing a second one potentially, and I still get people in my comments being like, it's fine, Tillray's or CGC's fine, Canopy Growth's like totally gonna make it through this. So, and like I said, ACB did 2 reverse splits and they had a good print 1 quarter on their earnings report, and then everybody's like, oh, Aurora's the leader now. I'm like, okay then. I got an igloo in the Sahara Desert that just waiting for you to buy the land title too. In Rod we trust. We need 7 more days over $1. Yeah, today was the 3rd, so the countdown is in full force. Then you get Charlie Kirk spending the same spreading the same stigma we heard of for 100 years. Yeah, that guy's on clearly meth or something. It's all about jobs and tax revenue for Trump, and we'll reschedule and more. It's also helping the veterans. It's also cutting down on wasteless spending. So how much money do they spend in enforcement actions against the MJ industry? It's also about the CCP and illicit market, all this psychosis bullshit. Do you ever think that's because it's not regulated, you numbskulls? Like, maybe go to Canada where there's 7 years of legal data, and guess what? The contrary, my friends. Not even my friends. You political people in the U.S., you're my arch nemesis. I can't stand any of you. I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not MAGA, I'm not blue, I'm not red, I'm white or black. I'm the most neutral party, and I hate y'all. So, can't stand any of this. You should all be fired, like I said, with prejudice, never allowed back ever again, and you should be stripped of all money that you have from this government. You should never be able to get paid a cent ever again, and you should forfeit all money that you made because you're all useless. Terrible, 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 terrible. It's so bad. Just the way they screwed up the crypto industry and the MJ industry in the last 10 years in the U.S., it's unforgivable, really. It's a complete disgrace to humanity, really, at the end of the day. Should be ashamed of themselves. But, like I said, everybody does deals with the devil at some point, and fortunate, but it's true. What do you think about the housing market? Correction coming, or will wages come up to meet the market? Well, wages never come up, so I would say that's the answer to that. But no, housing market's going to completely collapse, and usually that's the last part of the economy that falls in the dominoes. So, especially like the high valued markets like Toronto, Vancouver in Canada, New York, all those ones in the US, like the super overvalued ones, they're going to collapse. Not to say it won't rebound, but you do any one-on-ones? I want to join again. Yeah, so I do one-on-ones. If you just go, I was talking about it earlier actually, so maybe I answered your question before I read it. But yeah, if you just go down here, you can join a free trial as well if you want to join the Power Group private community. But yeah, I do coaching as well. So if you want to do a one-on-one, it's an hour coaching session, and I usually try to work around your. I thought it was sharing my screen here, but I guess it wasn't. But there you go. So if you go to the powergroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, there'll be links in the description. And there's coaching there, so you can do a coaching call. If you want to do a one-on-one session, I can, you can share your screen and you can show me what you're doing on your charts. I can help you set it up. I can give you everything that I know, and like I said, an hour, literally anything you want to talk about. So I've been following you for 4 or 5 years and watched every video. Just need some advice. I have about 150k shares of Tillray, and I averaged down over the last 3 years. Well, thank you very much, Frank, for all of your support over the years. And 150,000 shares of Tillray. That's a lot more than I got. I just hope you have 10 times the amount, whatever dollar amount your shares are. I hope your net worth is about 10 times that, because you never want to invest any more than 10% of your net worth into one sector, let alone one stock. So I would actually say I hope it's 20 times that. And you never want to compare yourself to anybody because everybody's in a different situation. But I would say you're sitting pretty, my friend. But again, it's just as important to know when to sell as to when to buy. So just have an exit plan. So when you do exit, you're not a deer in the headlights. And you don't want to be, and make sure you're not holding for $1,000 or anything like that, right? Like scale out along the way. You got 150,000 shares. You can easily scale out at some at $10, some at 20, some at 25, some at 50, some at 100, some at 200, whatever, right? Is that trade terminal you use that from the membership? Just curious. No, that's TradingView. The POW Algo Alerts is a system that I built, but no, TradingView, the charting software, that's TradingView. So, in Rod we trust. Love you, Rod. Love you too, man. Pot roast. Wouldn't mind me a nice pot roast either. No, I love each and one of you. I really appreciate it. How's it going? Great, Dave. How you doing? No complaints here. Yes. You got Dave Saunders again. What do you think is going to happen with Tillray on Monday? Yeah, so we were talking about that. It's going to be interesting, especially since this CGC bombshell dropped and the second reverse split, potentially. So I think that could be a sacrificial lamb into more buy pressure for Tillray. So we appreciate their dumb moves and their sacrifice. So we'll see if we get a flock of investors coming to Tillray because they're dropping that garbage. But yeah, it's all about $1. I could probably see them flushing because like this Canopy gross second reverse split, probably going to spook a lot of people. And what I could see happening is Tillray flushes below $1 but ends up closing above $1. It's entirely possible we close below $1 and freak everybody out again, right? They don't make it easy, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's 3 days. And then they'll close below $1 and they're like, oh, it's over. It's over. We're doing a reverse split. It's over. But yet Canopy's doing 2 reverse splits and there's still people like, it's fine. We're going to be just fine long term. This time is different. So, yeah, if I had any inclination or a crystal ball, which I don't, but if I were to look into my figurative crystal ball, I would say probably down and a flush below $1 to freak everybody out. Whether or not it closes above $1 or not, that'll probably depend on the broader market and Canopy garbage. I bought a bunch of AYR at 0.008 cents. Still lost in the trade, but the rally reduced the loss. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was even trading at an eighth of a penny is mind-boggling to me. I mean, it did go up to like 3 cents again. But again, if the market cap's $20, all you need is $20 to go up 100%, right? So the market cap was like 10 million, and it was once like $500 million or more. So if the market cap's like million or whatever, it only needs $1 million. Like one day it went up 100%, and there was only like $3,900 traded. So, like, anybody on this stream could muster up $3,900 and double the price, essentially, right? And as you're buying, the price is going up as you're buying because there's no liquidity, and you're just bidding it up, and you're already, like, down on your investment as you're buying it because you buy the first 100 shares and the price is rising, it's rising, it's rising, so your cost basis ends up being a lot higher than what you even initially bought it for. So, no, to me, I would avoid it like the plague. But hope you make money for sure. Anthony says, Rod took a jog with a bag full of greens, said, it's just my medicine keeping me keen. He tripped on a log with a comical scene. Now Rod's the new legend of the cannabis green. That's awesome. I love it. Slap that on a shirt or something. Could have made it all back if I stayed in to 5.5 cents. Yeah. I mean, it was a crazy move. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just, you're playing with fire. You're already playing with fire, and then it went to zero. And I told you were playing with fire. It went to zero, and then it was like, okay, I'm gonna like brand myself while playing with fire. I'm gonna jump in a ring of fire and brand myself and juggle like sticks on fire, and hope to make my money back. It's just, if we haven't learned anything from this sector in the last 5 or 10 years. Oh, man. I'm late. That's fine. Thanks. You're welcome. CDC says Oilers. Oh, man. I hope you're coming in late. No, CGC, you're probably not going to get any positive comments from me this late in the stream, honestly. Wouldn't be surprised to see them under $1. Absolute stupid move. You're not even getting a NASDAQ warning. You could get an extension. Just beyond stupid. Like, it's like... I don't even know how you can make a... You literally can't make this stuff up, right? Just when you think they couldn't get any dumber. Just when you think they couldn't do investors dirty any more than they already did. Let's do a reverse split without any need to do one. Perfect. Awesome. I love it. So, CGC probably destined for under $1 again. And they weren't forced to do a reverse split, but they may have just forced themselves to do it. So, I hope Tillray can make it up to $5 USD by next year. I would say that's very doable. Pot roast 100% right, man. FCGC. Do you follow Treasure Global in TGL stock? If so, what do you think of them? No. Treasure Global, I've never heard of that. TGL? I'm just bringing it up real quick. I'm going to end the stream here pretty soon, but TGL... Treasure Global on the NASDAQ. It's done 2 reverse splits. So it's like Canopy Growth. Bad taste in your mouth. Oh, a 1 for 50 and then a 1 for 70? Yeah, no, avoid it. Never buy it. Delete it from your vocabulary and your world and your existence and never think about it ever again. That's my uneducated 2-second opinion. Dirty, stupid move, I agree. Yeah, Oilers 48, we hear you. Again, I'm not trying to be the guy who's like the know-it-all. All I'm just trying to say is Canopy had the most red flags out of anybody in the industry. But because they have deep pockets, it might succeed, right? So even evil can succeed sometimes. AYR had so many red flags, and I said from the rooftops, avoid that like the plague. Don't even touch it with a 1,000-foot pole. I did not think it was going to go to zero in as quickly as it did, but it did. And still to this day, people are asking me if AYR is a good investment. And literally their executives are saying, there is no existing value here anymore. Like, the AYR as you know it is gone. There's no value. It's going to be a new company with new shareholders and new value. And people are still asking me if it's valuable. So... Again, Just like all the people who said, oh, I'm going to wait for Tillray's reverse split to buy. How's that going for you? Because that's not how this game works. It does not work the way you want it to. It's quite often the opposite, right? It's called the contrarian mindset for a reason. And why do you think 99% of retail lose? Is because they have a losing mindset. So one of the best things I love about my channel is that it's all retail. One of the worst things is it's all retail. Because I get caught up in this echo chamber, but I've actually used my channel as like a gauge and a sentiment check to what I normally do the opposite. So I see people commenting on my videos all the time, and usually if I just do the opposite of the majority, you do better, right? So, and you can do the same, right? Knowing that my channel is a retail focus, like 99% retail, when everybody's saying Tillray's garbage and MSOs are the only ones worth owning, what do you think's probably the right thing to do? It's probably to start focusing on LPs and ditching the MSOs. And look at what's been happening over the last few months. Oh, these Canadian operators are really starting to turn a page, and nobody learned anything from Canadian legalization. The same thing's happened in the US, only worse. They're 7 years dragging their feet since Canada legalized, and the US can't even figure it out what the next path forward is. They can't even figure out if they should reschedule, deschedule, treat it as heroin. It's ridiculous. There's literally doctors and veterans using this for medical reasons in the US. Like millions of them. Half of the US, 38 states are legal at the medical level. So if 38 states out of 50 are legal for medical, what the fuck are you telling me it has no medical value? Like, oh my God, I've never been so happy to not be American. To be honest, I love yous. I'd love to live there. But with this bass-ackwards bullshit, oh man, like you're not making me want to move there ever. And like, why would I move there? It's legal here. I can do whatever I want. I can go buy beverages. It's not laced with fentanyl. I don't have to worry about the illicit market. I don't have to worry about all kinds of chemicals and pesticides and all that stuff. Like, you guys really need to get in contact with your representatives. And like, I know, and they don't care about the people. They obviously don't. 90% of people want it legalized, so like they just don't care. Corruption knows no pain, right? But man, it's sad. It's really, really sad. Could it be they're reversing because of an institution or a merger? No, I can't see why they would do that, because the whole point of a reverse split is to create long-term shareholder value and to attract institutional investors. So why would they do a merger with another company? They would just like do the merger, right? They just get bought out or whatever, right? Unless you mean they're acquiring another company, that'd be dumb. Like, you're still integrating Jetty and Wana and Acreage, and that was a terrible accretive acquisition. So no. Non-accretive, I guess I should say. How much cash they have on hand? Not very much. Their debt's insurmountable, and they're not profitable. And burning their cash burn is like insane. So they're just going to keep diluting. Like, Canopy's going to dilute again and again and again, right? Until they have no debt and until they're profitable, dilution's always a possibility with a company. And Canopy's full of debt and nowhere near profitable. So dilution is probably going to be the story. And yeah, they're probably going to reverse split, then dilute again. That's probably, yeah, we're going to reduce the shares to like 10 million, 50 million, and then we're going to dilute again. Good luck finding a buyer of AYR with crazy huge debt. They have not going to happen. The creditors are taking over some of their assets already. Yeah, exactly. Like if you buy a company, you buy their debt too. So that's like, so many people are saying, why don't they buy AYR? Like, it's a good operator. Again, we have to look past the bomb. We have to understand financial markets. And if you did 5 seconds worth of research, you would understand if you buy a company, you buy their debt too. So yeah, I know you're talking about CGC. Rod, the new Roaring Kitty for MJ. I don't know about that. Roaring Kitty is yeah. I'm looking for value. Like, there's not really any value in GameStop in my opinion. But CGC has 145 million in cash with their last Q1 fiscal 2026. Thanks, Jam. Are they in Europe? Yeah, CGC is in Europe, but they've just been getting into Europe because that's the next. That's the biggest topic now, right? So they've been seeing like Aurora pivot to medical. Like if you walk into so here's a very simple exercise. Where does Canopy Growth operate predominantly? Canada. Where did Aurora predominantly operate? Canada. So in this day and age, and I know you might not be from Canada, so you can't walk into a dispensary, but if you walk into a retail shop and you see 0 CGC or Canopy or 0 Aurora, what does that say? When they were the darlings of the space, right? Those were number 1 and number 2 in Canada when we legalized. If you walk into a store today in Canada, a retail cannabis store, there's no Canopy anywhere. There's no, like, maybe a little bit, but like I'm talking like it's not visibly like there. Like you'd have to ask them. It's maybe the Claiborne pre-rolls or something, the infused ones or something they're making rounds, but most people just see Claiborne like, oh, Claiborne, this is new. They don't, if they knew it was Canopy, they'd probably like throw it in the garbage or not even consider buying it. And that's what they do. Like they create all these sub brands so that they forget about the parent company and they trick you into buying it, right? It's like Nestle and Kit Kat or whatever. It's all Nestle. So you walk into a cannabis store, retail store. You know what you see nonstop? Organogram. Tillray's like everywhere. Tillray just dominates the entire store, right? It's like majority Tillray. You go to a beverage cooler, majority Tillray. Organogram's big on the edibles. They're pretty big too. Cron's pretty big. SNDL, but even not so much. You had a lot of these craft growers and fly-by-night growers and companies. Those are kind of dwindling. But yeah, if you walk into a store, it's all Redecan, Broken Coast, good supply. The Trust beverages, so XMGs, Molos, the Mary Jones, which all is licensed by Tillray. It's all Tillray. And Tillray operates in 22 countries, more countries than any other operator that I'm aware of. And they operate in more states than as many states as the US MSOs operate in states. Like I think Green Thumb operates in like 14 states. Tillray has hemp beverages in like 14 states. Okay? And they also have alcohol business, which can later be infused with MJ. They have the non-alcoholic spirits, which can later be infused with MJ. So it's not that difficult once you really start to do some research, right? Texas, yeah, that's what I thought. Love to go. Tillray, OGI, ACB are doing well in Europe. Yeah, exactly. So ACB was kind of the leader for a while, but yeah, like Tillray, even Cureleaf operates in Poland and like UK and Australia. Like they're huge as well. But if you compare the balance sheets for like Tillray and Cureleaf, they're very similar, right? Like it's because they operate in the exact same markets. Like Tillray, Cureleaf are very similar, and that's why I really hope one day that Tillray and Cureleaf merge, and then if they do, it's game over. That will be the conglomerate. That will be the number one MJ company, hands down. Cureleaf doing well in Europe too. Exactly. Yeah. All right. It's been fun. Wow. Almost 2 hours. And, I thought it would maybe be like a 20 or 30 minute live stream. It always happens. You come on here and you're like, oh, I'm going to go on for like a half an hour, and no way I'm going to go over an hour. And here we are, 2 hours, and all you beautiful people still here. So really appreciate all the support as always, and such a fun time hanging out all the time. Do you see Tillray merging with other companies for dominance? And what about Australian market and Asian market? Exactly. Yeah, Tillray's. I hope they merge with Cureleaf eventually. That would be my one wish in this industry, but that's not going to happen until the blue chip phase. the blue chip phase isn't going to happen until after the U.S. legalizes, and then probably a few years after that, right? Because you're not gonna hit blue chip status and mass growth and critical mass until the biggest economy in the world legalizes, and then after they legalize, it's going to take a few years, right? So that's what I'd be looking at. But yeah, Tillray's already said they're looking to do multiple acquisitions, and they said if the U.S. legalizes or even goes rescheduling, they said they might look at a U.S. operator, and they also have MedMen IP as well. Thanks, Rod. You bet. All right, thanks everybody. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, and have a great weekend ahead. We'll see you on the next one. You're welcome, everybody. Appreciate you too. Much love. Talk soon.